Hey, so good morning and have a blessed Sunday everyone. Sabi ni Lord, matuto magpatawad para patawarin tayo ng Panginoon. So this time our topic is about strategic management. So strategic management is an ongoing planning, monitoring, analysis, and assessment of all necessities on our organizations need to meet its goals and objectives. So changes in business environment will require organizations to constantly assess their strategies for success. The strategic management actually provides overall direction by developing plans and policies to achieve objectives in allocating resources to implement the plans. Ultimately, strategic management exists for organizations to gain a competitive edge over their competitors. Strategic management is mostly about identifying and describing the strategies that the management may use to enhance efficiency and provide the company with a competitive advantage. So if the company's profitability is higher than its competitors, then the company is considered to have a competitive edge. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter this morning. Go ahead. Go ahead, presenter, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, ayaw ma-share ng video. Clear and loud po ba?
Yes, Miss
Okay.
Anlas, go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmate. Okay, start po tayo sa... ang topic ko po is Strategic Marketing Planning and Framework and Environmental Scanning and SWOT Analysis. Okay. Before I proceed, let me define what is customer. A customer is a person or organization that buy goods or services from store or business. Customer value is the perception of what the product or services is worth to customer versus the possible alternatives. Worth mean whether the customer feels or she gets benefits and services or what she paid. Creating customer value increase customer satisfaction and the customer experience. Getting customer is not easy, but maintaining them is much harder. Any idea po kung bakit mas mahirap mag-maintain ng customer kaysa makapag-open ng new customer? Everyone po? Okay. Initial attraction versus long-term satisfaction. Attracting new customers typically involve marketing efforts, promotions, and incentives to get their attention and convince them to make them first purchase. This can be challenging but relatively straightforward. However, keeping customers satisfied and loyal over the long term requires consistently meeting or exceeding their expectations, which is more challenging. Customer value refers to the perceived benefits that a customer receives from a product or services in relation to its cost. It is a central concept in marketing and business strategy because it helps company understand what drives customer satisfaction and loyalty. Customer value is not solely determined by the price. It encompasses a range of factors that contribute to a customer's overall experience and satisfaction. Here are some key components of customer value. First is quality, price, convenience, features and benefits, customer service, brand reputation, personalization, emotional connection, sustainability and ethics, total cost of ownership. Understanding and delivering customer value is crucial for business as it can lead to customer loyalty, repeat business, positive reviews, and word-of-mouth recommendation. By consistently providing value to their customers, business can build a long-term relationship and achieve sustainable success in the market. How to develop customer value? Developing customer value involves a strategic approach to creating and delivering products or services that meet or exceed customers' expectations. Here are some steps to help you determine customer value. First is understand your customers. Conduct market research to gain insight into your target audience needs, preferences, and pain points. Create customers persona to better understand the demographics, behavior, and motivation of your ideal customers. Second is identify customer needs and pain points. Listen to your customer feedback through survey, review, and direct communication to identify areas where your offering can provide solutions. Conduct competitor analysis to understand what your competitors are offering and where you can differentiate. Third is develop unique value proposition or UVP. Create a clear and compelling UVP that communicates how your product or service solve specific customers' problem or offer unique benefits. Ensure your UVP address what makes your offering stand out from competitors. Product service quality. Invest in the quality of your products or service to ensure it meets or exceed customers' expectations. Continuously improve your offering based on customers' feedback and market trends. Fifth is pricing strategy. Determine a pricing strategy that aligns with the perceived value of your offering. Consider flexible pricing options, discount, or bundling to appeal to different customer segments. Convenience and accessibility. Make it easy for customers to find, purchase, and use your product or services. Customer service and support. Train your staff to provide excellent customer service and resolve issues promptly. It is innovation and differentiation. Stay ahead of the competition by continuously innovating and introduce new features or improvement to your offering. 9. Personalization. Use data and customers' insight to personalize the customer's experience, such as recommendation based on past purchases or tailored communication. Build trust and transparency. Be transparent about your products, pricing, and policies. Sustainability and social responsibility. Embrace sustainable practices and social responsibility initiatives that resonate your target audience. Communicate your commitment to these values in your branding and marketing. Measure and iterate. Continuously monitor customer satisfaction and gather feedback to identify areas for improvement. Employee engagement. Ensure your employees are engaged and aligned with the company's mission and vision as they play a critical role in delivering customer value. Feedback loops. Create feedback loops within your organization to ensure that customers' insights are shared across teams and integrated into product services development. Marketing and communication. Craft marketing messages that emphasize the value of your products or services provide customers. Maintain an active presence or relevant communication channel to engage with your audience. The value chain process. Value delivery process. Delivery process is a fundamental aspect of marketing that involves creating, delivering, and improving value for customers. The value delivery process assists of four components: creating value proposition, delivering value proposition, capturing value, and creating customers' relationship. Overall, the value delivery process is a holistic approach to marketing that revolves around understanding customers' needs, creating offerings that meet those needs, delivering those offerings effectively, and establishing and maintaining profitable and lasting relationship with customers. This process is centered to building a successful and sustainable business in today's competitive market. Value delivery is designed to deliver the right product, service, and project at the right time. The value chain. Value chain refers to to full cycle of product or process, including material sourcing, production, consumption, and disposal. The value chain framework is made of 5 primary activities: inbound operations, outbound logistics, market and sales, and service. And the 4 secondary activities: procurement and purchasing, human resources management, technological development, and company infrastructure. A value chain analysis is when a business identifies its primary and secondary activities and sub-activities and evaluate the efficiency of each point. A value chain analysis can reveal linkage, dependencies, and other patterns in the value chain. Sa value chain po, ang goal natin is to lower the cost. Okay, as a management, issues and efficiencies are relatively easy to identify here. Well-managed primary activities are often to source of the business cost advantage. This means the business can produce product or services at a lower cost than its competitor. Inbound operations. The internal handling and management of resources coming from outside sources, such as external vendor and other supply chain source. These outside resources flowing in is called inputs and may include raw materials. Operations activities and process that transform into outputs, the product or service being sold by the business that flow out to customer. These output are the core products that can be sold for a higher price than the cost of materials and production to create profit. Outbound logistics, the delivery or outputs to customers. Processes involve system for storage, collection, and distribution to customer. This includes managing a company's internal system and external system for customers' organization. Marketing and sales activities such as advertising, the brand building, which seek to increase visibility, reach a marketing audience, and communicate why a customer should purchase a product or services. Service activities such as customer service and product support, which reinforce a long-term relationship with the customer who have purchased our product or services. Okay, sa inbound logistics po, pwede po natin dito i-consider yung mga supplier. Ang sample ko po dito is si Josefina, or also known as, ang product po niya is si Soen. Dito po, pwede po tayong gumamit ng forecast. So sa forecast po ni sales, malalaman natin kung ilan yung ipino-forecast nilang quantity. Siyempre, the more na isang bagsak or volume ang ipapagawa natin or ang bibilhin natin materials, mas makakatipid tayo. At the same time, masusustain natin yung quantity ng product or yung pinaka-output. Sa operations naman, at dito na po si production. Okay, sa inbound logistics, bibili tayo ng product. Sa operations, yung product natin, yung tela natin, gagawin na natin mga, pwedeng gawin natin siyang, kay Josefina po kasi, or kay Soen, ang product nila is mga underwear. So dito, kailangan natin ma-ensure yung quality ng product. Siyempre, kung hindi naman below standard siya, mare-reject siya. So, mas lalaki yung cost natin. Sa outbound logistics naman, ito na po yung i-deliver natin yung product natin papuntang store. Dito naman, ikino-consider natin yung OPEX or operational expense. So, ang standard OPEX po natin is 2.5. Makakatipid tayo kung gagamitin natin or maximize natin yung cost natin kung gagamit tayo ng OPEX. So, how to compute OPEX? Ito po yung operational expense natin from sample isang truck. Sa isang truck, ilan yung tao? Magkano yung bayad nila per day? Toll fee, gas, kung mag-hotel sila, include po natin. Basta lahat po ng expenses nila, then divide sa net amount ng DR natin or delivery receipt. Dapat less than 2.5 po ang pinaka-total. Yun po yung standard. Then, i-consider din natin dito sa outbound logistics natin, syempre, yung mabilis natin na madedeliver sa mga store natin. Anong ibebenta ni store kung wala naman tayong item? Kaya i-consider po natin yung mabilis. So, marketing naman, ito po yung mga promos natin. Sa amin, meron po kaming pang whole year na promo and meron din po kaming per quarter. Depende po sa nature ng business or kung ano po yung effective na marketing natin. Sa service naman po, ito po yung feedback ni customer sa atin. Ang pinaka-goal natin, syempre po yung satisfaction ni customer. Pag na-meet natin yung pangangailangan ni customer, nagiging happy siya sa ano natin, sa service natin. Yun po, nagke-create po tayo ng customer satisfaction. Second is support activities. Procurement and purchasing, finding new external vendors, maintaining vendor relationship, and negotiating prices and other activities related to bringing in the necessary materials and resources used to build the product or services. Dito po, kay procurement or kay purchasing, pwede po, dito po, ikino-consider po natin yung payment natin kay materials. Kung nakakasave ba tayo, meron po tayong, unang-unang gagawin natin dito is magka-canvas tayo. Sa pagka-canvas natin, hindi lang presyo yung titingnan natin. Siyempre, titingnan natin yung quality, yung mode of payment, kung cash ba to or terms. Then, kung gaano niya kabilis madadeliver sa atin yung product. Technology and development. Activities such as research and development, IT management, and cybersecurity that build and maintain an organization use of technology. The fourth is company infrastructure. Necessary company activities such as legal, general management, administrative, accounting, finance, public relationship, and quality assurance. Okay. Importance of value chain analysis. Gain competitive edge. Porter's value chain model provides an advantage for competitive analysis of cost and differentiation. First is higher profitability. When the company reduces the cost of products or create product differentiation, it can increase its profit margin and sales. Second is standardized process. In the process of enhancing the value created in each step, the organization is engaged in setting up superior benchmarks to standardize at all its activities. Third is improves customers' relationship. With better and improved products or services, the organization can strengthen its relationship with its customer and associates. Optimize inventory. An enhanced supply chain management results into streamlined inventory management, thus ensuring an optimum level of stocks. Dito po, we can consider meron po tayong tinatawag na maintaining stocks. So, meron tayong quantity na kailangan nating i-maintain siya. Hindi tayo po pwedeng ma-out of stock or maubusan ng stock. So, sa paggawa ng maintaining stocks or minimum stocks sa system natin, dapat alam din, i-consider po natin yung fast-moving, slow-moving, non-moving items. And avoid po natin yung out of stock or walang stock. Siyempre, ano po ibebenta natin kung wala po tayong stocks. Overstocks din po, kino-consider po natin ito. Overstocks, sample is slow-moving item pero ang dami pa nating stock. So, nagkukos siya sa atin ng space sa warehouse natin at the same time, yung hindi natin na ma-maximize yung cost ng product. Reduce cost and delivery time. Okay? By using the BCA for cost advantage, the organization can attain cost minimization also with the well-managed supply chain, the delivery and transition time can be reduced. So, ito po yun. Ito po yung sample ko po kanina, yung OPEX natin. Ikino-consider din po natin dito yung no backload. Yung no backload po natin is, or zero backload. Ito po yung dineliver natin yung item. Nilabas natin, nakalagay siya sa truck. Tapos, hindi siya i-receive ni customer kasi wala doon si customer or dinideny ni customer yung order. So, ang sa amin, sa experience ko po, ang strategy namin doon, meron po kaming group chat sa Viber. Then, lahat ng mga i-deliver namin for tomorrow, nakapost na po doon para si ahente, kinakontak na po niya yung mga client niya na nakaschedule doon. Para kung wala man mag-receive sa kanila, na-advise po kagad si warehouse. And then, hindi na po siya isasama. Ibang customer na po yung isasama para maximize din natin yung OPEX. Then, ina-avoid din namin dito yung sales return. So, sales return, ito po yung item na i-deliver natin sa customer. Tapos, after a month or after a week, i-return nila sa atin. Dito po, nag-expend na rin po kasi siya ng cost. Then, nakakasira na rin siya ng inventory natin. Okay, next is better vendor management. The value creation in the process of inbound logistics lead to higher control over the suppliers. Ito po yung sa supplier natin. Okay. Core business processes. Core processes are sometimes also referred as a primary process, and they compose the main activities of the business. For core business process, concept to product, market to customer, order to cash, and demand to supply. Operational process are those that bring direct value to customer and the company itself. They are the processes that directly create revenue. Core competencies. It is a source of competitive advantage and makes significant contribution to perceived customers' benefits. It has application in a wide variety of markets. It is difficult for competitor to imitate. 3 steps of realignment. Realignment is the process of changing the way of company or organizations work or does business. The realignment comes at a time of rapid change in the online advertising market as an advantage in technology, create new opportunities for advertising. First is redefining the business concept or a big idea, reshaping the business scope, sometimes geographically. The third is repositioning the company's brand identity. The central role of strategic planning is the purpose of strategic planning is to set overall goals for your business and to develop a plan to achieve them. It involves stepping back from your day-to-day operations and asking where your business is headed and what its priority should be. The main point of strategic planning is a process in which organizations leaders define their vision for the future and identify their organization's goals and objectives. The process includes establishing the sequence in which those goals should be realized so that the organization can reach its stated vision. Strategic planning has the power to steer and shape an organization's future. Strategic planner look forward and prepare for the long term while ensuring that the team is accomplishing what is necessary for the short term. prioritize strategic planning in three key areas: managing the business as an investment portfolio, assessing the market growth rates and company's position in that market, and establishing a strategy. For organizational level, first is corporate. Corporate is the highest and therefore the most broad level of strategy in business. Corporate level strategy should define your organization's main purpose. It should also direct all your downstream decision making. Example is Walmart Inc. and Microsoft Corporation. Second is division. Division, the divisional organizational structure organize the activities of the business around geographical, market, or product and service group. The example of divisional structure is Samsung Company. Samsung, an electronics business and entity, depict divisional structure based on product type. The three division in the company are consumers, electronic, device solution, and IT, and mobile communication. The third is business unit. A business unit, also referred as a division or major functional area, is a part of an organization that represents a specific line of business and it's part of firm value or activities including operations, accounting, human resources, marketing, sales, and supply chain functions. A department or team that develops and implements independent strategy in a company. While they are fully functional division, their processes and practices typically align with the company's primary activities. Product. Product is any item or service you sell to serve a customer's need or want. They can be physical or virtual. Physical products include durable goods like cars, furniture, and computers, and non-durable goods like food and beverages. Business or divisional planning has to do with staying competitive by creating useful product and staying competitive with other goods or services. It deals with only one business compared to the corporate level, which deals with all parts of the business. Marketing plan. Marketing plan is the advertising strategy that a business will implement to sell its product or service. The marketing plan will help determine who the target market is, how best to reach them, at what price point the product or service should be sold, and how the company will measure its effort. Having a marketing plan can help you to identify your target market and how your product or service can benefit it. It identifies how you might attract new customers, encourage your existing customers to continue purchasing your product or service. The purpose of marketing plan. A marketing plan lay out your business strategy for acquiring new customers and selling more product and services. But it also serves as a way of analyzing exactly how successful your marketing efforts have been made so far. Two levels of marketing product: strategic marketing plan and tactical marketing plan. Strategic marketing plan, it is the process in which the company develops marketing strategies to meet its strategic goals and objectives. The main step including identifying the company's current situation, analyzing its opportunities and threats, and mapping out marketing actions plan for implementation. Tactical marketing plan is specify the marketing tactics, including product features, promotion, merchandising, pricing, sales channel, and service. Tactical marketing is the implementation of specific techniques that can help a company achieve its marketing goals. It often involves performing individual marketing activities such as publishing blog posts, conducting social media campaigns, generating leads, and hosting events. Okay, ito po yung pinagkaiba ng strategic marketing plan sa tactical marketing plan. So, Sa strategic marketing plan, focus on the outcome. Then sa tactical naman po, focus on deliverables. Then second is choose path of least resistance. Sa tactical naman, choose step and processes. And how can we make it? Sa tactical naman, we can do it that way. Okay, next po. Ito po yung example ko po ng pinagkaiba ng strategy sa tactics. The strategic marketing, the strategic planning, implementation, and control process. Strategic planning is a process in which an organization leaders define their vision for the future and identify their organization's goals and objectives. The process includes establishing the sequence in which those goals should be realized so that the organization can reach its stated vision. Helps to define the direction in which an organization must travel and aid in establishing realistic objectives and goals that are in line with the vision and mission charted out for. Example of strategic plan. Our goal is to increase online sales by 20% over the next 2 quarters. Ang strategy natin is to increase marketing and social media presence by 25% in the 2 quarters. Implementation is a process in a project management that entails creating step-by-step instructions for completing project. The purpose of this process is to inform members of a project team of the concrete action and individual tasks required to achieve the team's strategic. Control process of management ensure that every activity of a business is furthering its goal. This process basically helps managers in evaluating their organization's performance. By using it effectively, they can decide whether to change their plans or continue with them as they are. Example of control process in management. An example of feedback and control is when a sales goal is set, the sales team work to reach that goal for the 3 months, and at the end of the 3 months period, manager review the result and determine whether the sales goal was achieved. Corporate and division strategic planning is the process by which business create strategies for meeting business goals and achieving objectives. It involves strategy definition, strategy direction, decision-making, and resource allocation. Corporate planning leading to the formulation of corporate strategy is the process deciding on the company's objective and goals, including the determination of which and how many lines of business to engage in, acquiring the resources needed to attain those objects. Divisional strategy. Divisional planning includes the plan formulated for various departments or division of an enterprise. It determines the scope and activities of a particular department and its operation. It's also known as operational planning. For planning activities, first is defining the corporate mission, establishing a strategy business unit, assigning resources to each strategic business unit, and assessing growth opportunities. Defining the corporate mission. A company's mission constitutes the future picture of how you want the company to develop. The mission is the management view of what the company wants to achieve in the future, and sometimes it is developed with an entire organization participating in order to establishing it. Example ko po, mission po ni Pildex. Ito po yung mission po ni Pildex. And other example ko po is Starbucks. To inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Business. Business. The main objective of any business is to earn profit. Just a plant cannot survive without water. Similarly, to a business cannot sustain without profit. Profit is necessary for growing and expanding business activities. The, the three main purpose of business include the three function of business that leads to success included creating a product or service that people desire. Second is developing a plan to make money by selling this item. The third is pushing yourself and your team to manufacture the product and sell out before you run out of your initial investment. Crafting a mission statement. A well-crafted mission statement focuses the business for both employees and the target audience. It serves as a framework, giving everyone involved launching point to build from when establishing the brand. For consumer, it set the company apart from the competition without limiting the business purpose. A mission statement is a brief description of the overarching meaning of the company or nonprofit. A mission statement does not explain what a company does or how it does. It attempts to succinctly explain why a company exists and what is the purpose is. What is the difference between mission and vision? A vision statement focuses on tomorrow and what an organization ultimately wants to become, and mission statement focuses on today and what an organization does to achieve it. Three key things your mission statement should answer. First is, what does your company do? How does your company do it? And why does your company do it? Your mission statement should be unique to your business, and what you include will depend on your particular focus and values. Typically, a mission statement includes basic description of the company, its purpose, and its goal. Good mission statement have 5 major characteristics. First is they focus on a limited number of goals. Second is they stress the company major policies and values. Third is they define the major competitive sphere within which the company will operate. Fourth is they take a long-term view. Fifth, they are short, memorable, and meaningful as possible. Strategic business unit characteristics. Characteristics of strategic business unit is flexible, independent, and autonomous in its operation and business strategies. These units have flexibility in that they are able to make changes to focus on their specific target market. First is it is a single business or a collection of related business that can be planned separately from the rest of the company. Second, it has its own set of competitors. Third, it has a managers responsible for strategic planning and profit performance who control most of the factors affecting profit. The purpose of identifying the company's strategic business units is to develop separate strategies and assign appropriate funding. Understanding marketing management. Marketing management involves developing and implementing strategic marketing programs, processes, and activities that align with wider business objectives while utilizing customer insight, tracking metrics, and optimizing internal business to achieve success. Marketing refers to all activities a company does to promote and sell product or service to consumers. Marketing management process also analyze the past performance of previous marketing campaign. It uses data points to curate a better basis of improvement in the current and the future project or marketing plan. It is both science and art of retaining existing customer and creating new leads while providing an environmental conducive to high level of customer satisfaction and better brand image. Marketing management usually need to be corrected for one another. However, marketing is hands-on approach to promotion. Its management is based on the larger picture where the manager is more involved in strategies and supervision than daily activities. Strategic planning gap. Uh, First is intensive growth opportunities. Second, integrative growth opportunities. Third is diversification growth. Intensive growth opportunities, identifying opportunities to achieve further growth within the company's current business. So, pwede po natin ditong tingnan yung market penetration natin, market development, and product. Second is integrative growth, identifying opportunities to build or acquire business that are related to the company's current business. We can consider din po dito when a retail store buy a wholesales. And diversification growth, identifying opportunities to add attractive business unrelated to the company's current business. Sample ko po dito is si Pildex. Si Pildex po ang item namin is plumbing. Pwede po kaming mag-add ng item ng mga clothes. So hindi po siya related sa plumbing. And ang other example is si Pildex. Dito lang po siya sa country natin. Pwede po kaming mag-expand into international market. Developing marketing strategies and plans. Developing marketing, ito po yung market share, product, price, financial plan, implement, management result. The development of marketing strategy involves the isolation of a target market segment as a set of clear-cut goals, a fair amount of consumer research, and implementation of initiative aimed at getting the word out. It is important because it helps a business grow and reach new customer in planned, structured way. It gains corporate objectives by creating and maintaining sustainable competitive. Importance of marketing management. First is target customer. Second, opportunities. Third is decision making. Fourth, new leads. Fifth is employment. And sixth is organizational goals. Developing marketing strategies and plans. Tapos na. A strategic marketing plan offers two-pronged advantage to the business owners. First is help you drive valuable funds and resources toward these desired marketing goals. The second is minimize wasting cost and time. Understanding marketing management, diversification growth, makes sense when good opportunities exist outside the present business, the industry is highly attractive, and the company has the right mix of business strength to succeed. A growth strategy that involves entering into a new market or industries, one that your business doesn't currently operate, and while also creating a new product for a new market. Example of business diversification growth, product diversification, a company that primarily sells clothing might expand into selling home goods and accessories. Next is downsizing and divesting older businesses. A company must carefully prune harvest or divest tired old business to release needed resources for other use to reduce costs. The process of reducing business asset or selling of all part of your company is known as divestment or divestiture. Business divestment effectively downsize or eliminate your interest in your company and the property it's owned. Downsizing is the permanent reduction of company's labor force through the elimination of unproductive workers or division. Downsizing is a common organizational practices usually associated with economic downturns and failing business. Organization and organizational culture. Organization consists of its structure, policies, and corporate culture, all of which can become dysfunctional in rapidly changing. An organization is a group of people with a defined relationship in which they work together to achieve the goals of that organization. Organizational culture is the set of values, beliefs, attitude, system, and rules that outline and influence employee behavior within an organization. Corporate culture, some define is some define it is eh, some define it as the shared experience, stories, belief, and norm that characterize an organization. Walk into any company and the first thing that strikes you is the corporate culture. Culture, the way people dress, talk to one another, and greet customers. Marketing innovation. Marketing innovation is the implementation of new marketing method that differs significantly from the previous marketing method used by the enterprise and that has not been previously used by the enterprise. Innovation is often necessary for companies to adapt and overcome the challenges of change. For example, you can offer trial period for your new service to all your customers who sign up for your loyalty program. Encouraging customer loyalty can be an important aspect of innovative marketing because innovation often requires their support. Four ways innovate Four ways innovation can help your business. First is improve sales and customer relationship. Failing to improve your product and services can put you at risk of losing customer to more innovative competitors. Second, reduce waste and cost. Third is boost your market proposition. And fourth is improve employee relations. Okay. Okay, ito po yung sample ko po ng marketing activity and marketing innovation example. Sa creating value po natin, marketing research, ang innovation po is new research method and tools. Then sa product, ito din po, mail order customized product, post-purchase, warranty services, etc. Ito po yung pinadali or sasabay tayo sa trend. Other example ko rin po is sa groceries. Dati, yung mga company like Wyatt, Monde, Unilever, nagsusupply lang po sila sa mga store. Then pandemic came, nauso na po yung mga online shopping, nauso na po si Lazada, si Shopee. Meron na rin po silang sumabay po sila sa trend. Meron na rin silang mga direct store doon po kay Shopee, Lazada para mas maging accessible kay customer. Yun po. Business mission is the main idea, the purpose that and the drivers behind the company, which send the company, its executive and employees as long as way in a particular direction. The mission is typically defined in a mission statement. Ang sample ko po dito is PhilDex mission. Ito po yung mission namin. Okay? Having a clear mission or purpose is essential for any organization. It helps to prioritize tasks, focus energy, and maximize impact on target customers. SWOT analysis. A study undertaken by an organization to identify its internal strength and weakness, as well as its external opportunities and threats. A framework used to evaluate companies' competitive position and to develop a strategic planning. Reviewing strength and weakness create a base from which to plan for improvement and to capitalize on what is being done. If a company has a strong, well-trained, dedicated sales staff, it may not need to use a lot of resources to develop sales and can be improved other weaker areas of the business. SWOT analysis is a simple but powerful framework that evaluates the business from 4 perspectives: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. It can also help you to assess almost any aspect of your business to help you make more informed decisions. In short, SWOT analysis asks you to list what's working for your business, the strength, and what's not working. Ito po yung weakness natin. The external factor business could capitalize or opportunities. The external factors that can harm your business or threat. By doing a SWOT analysis, you can use your strength and stand out from your competitors. Address your weakness before they hurt you and find and seize new opportunities. Prepare for avoid potential threats. SWOT analysis can help you make smarter decisions, plan better, and reach your goal faster. SWOT analysis consists of examining an organizational strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats in its business environment. SWOT explore 2 types of environmental: the internal environment, which is focused on strength and weakness, and the external is opportunities and threats. Sample ko po sa strength, ang gamitin ko pong sample is si PhilDex. So, ang item po namin is PPR. So, si PPR, ang strength niya, made from virgin materials, hot and cold, follow po siya sa standard size ni Philippines, and mas mababa po yung price niya compared to competitor. Ang weakness naman po niya, kinakategorize po kasi namin sa 3 category ang customer natin. Ito po yung project, hardware, and end user. So, sa weakness naman, dito po pumapasok yung discounting. So, meron kaming mga competitor na hindi namin kayang tapatan yung discounting nila. Bakit? Kasi yung discounting nila, halos pamigay na nila yung presyo nila eh. Nagagawa nila yon kasi yung item nila, hindi sila made from virgin materials. Then, opportunities naman namin, plumbing kami, so pwede kaming mag-introduce ng new item para makadagdag sa sales namin. So, ang threat naman po namin, so si PhilDex, supplier pa lang po siya. So, ang po pwede namin maging threats in the near future, is kapag meron kaming competitor na nag-o-offer ng install and supply. So, ibig sabihin, kapag kumuha sila sa competitor na yun, na doon na sila bumili at the same time, nag-o-offer sila na sila na rin ang mag-install ng PPR nila. Pero, sabi nga po nila, sabi nga po dito, pinag-aaralan natin yung SWOT na to para alam natin or makilala natin yung item natin. At the same time, alam din natin yung competitor, weakness and strength ng competitor natin. And mapaghandaan natin yung threats. So, eto sa threats namin, pinaghahandaan na namin siya. Meron na kaming plano kung paano namin maiiwasan yung threats na yun. Marketing opportunity is an area of buyer need and interest the company has a high probability or profitability satisfying. Opening companies to sell something to a certain type of customer. These customers or potential leads have a need for a product or service that the company can provide. A qualified sales lead who a sales team reviews and identifies someone in potential need product or services. Market opportunity analysis helps identify the needs of the customer and accordingly plan, design, deliver products or services to derive customer satisfaction. Three main sources of market opportunities. First is to offer something that is in short supply. Third is to supply an existing product or services in a new or superior way. Third is main source of market opportunities. Marketers need to be good at spotting opportunities. Consider the following. First, a company may benefit from converging industry trends and introduce hybrid product or services new to the market. Second, a company may take a buying process more convenient or efficient. Third, a company can meet the need for more information and advice. A company can customize a product or service. A company can introduce a new capability. A company may be able to deliver a product or service faster. A company may be able to offer a product as much as lower price. To evaluate opportunities, companies can use market opportunity analysis, also known as MOA. First is, can we articulate the benefits convincingly to defend the target market? Can we locate the target market and reach them with cost-effective media and trade channels? Third is, does our company possess or have access to the critical capabilities and resources we need to deliver the customer's benefits? Can we deliver the benefit better than any actual or potential competitors? Will the financial rate or return meet or exceed our required threshold for investment? Okay po. Any question po or clarification?
May ka-partner ka pa?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Proceed muna sa next presenter din saka ako mag-share.
Okay po, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Grace Chan. I'm here to report about Module 2. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes po.
Yes.
Yes po. Okay. So my topics are competitive analysis. Next is positioning strategies. Third is marketing metrics. and fourth is performance measurement. So first is what is competitive analysis? Competitive analysis is a process of identifying your business competitors and conducting research to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses. To plan effective marketing strategy, a company needs to find out all it can about its competitor. It must constantly compare its marketing strategies, products, prices, channels, and promotions with those close competitors. So we have here the steps in analyzing competitors. First is we need to identify what types of competitors we have. So first we have direct competitors. These are the competitors that sell a similar product or services to a similar target market. Next is indirect competitors. These are competitors that sell a different product or service in the same category but target an audience similar to yours. Next is we have assessing competitors. So in assessing competitors, we need to identify or determine their competitors' objective, identifying competitors' strategies. We need to identify their strengths and weaknesses and estimating competitors' reaction. First is determining competitors' objective. Each competitor has a mixed objectives. Our competitor wants to know the relative importance that our competitors place on current profitability, market share growth, cash flow, technological leadership, service leadership, and other goals. Next is identifying competitors. The more one firm's strategy resembles another firm's strategy, the more the two firms compete. When we say strategic group, industry following the same or similar strategy in a given target market. So we have here the example, which is Ford and Toyota. Ford and Toyota belong to the same strategic group. So each produces a full time of low to medium price mainstream vehicles, supported by great warranties and broad leadership networks. Next is assessing competitor strengths and weaknesses. So to assess your competitor's strengths and weaknesses, first is to gather data on each competitor's goals, strategies, and performance over the past few years. Next is secondary data. We need to gather the personal experience and word of mouth. They can also conduct primary marketing research with customers, suppliers, and dealers. They can check competitors' online and social media sites. Next um, is estimating the competitor's reaction. Uh, the company wants to know what will our competitors do. Competitors' objectives, strategies, and strengths and weaknesses go a long way towards explaining its likely actions. They also suggest its likely reactions to company moves such as yung price cuts, promotions increases, or new product introduction. Next, we have here the third analyzing competitors is selecting competitors. We have here strong or we need to analyze or select which competitor is strong or weak, good or bad competitors, and or finding uncongested marketing spaces. When we say strong and weak competitors, most companies prepare to compete against weak competitors. This requires few resources and less time. But in the process, the company wants to gain lead. But but in the process, the company may gain little. The company should compete with strong competitors to sharpen its abilities, and sometimes can't avoid its strategies uh, and sometimes can't avoid its largest competitors. But even the strong competitors have some weaknesses, and succeeding against them often provides greater returns. The key to gaining competitive advantage is to examine how companies' offers compares to that of a major competitors in each customer segment. The company wants to find a place in a market where it meets customers' needs in a rival, uh, a way rivals can. Next is good or bad competitors. A company really needs and benefits from competitors. The existence of competitors result in several strategic benefits. Competitors may share the cost of market and product development and help to legitimize new technologies. They serve less attractive segments or lead to the product differentiate. Next is finally, competitors may help to increase your total demand. Next is finding uncongested market spaces. So rather than competing head to head with established competitors, so many seek out unoccupied positions in uncongested market spaces, then try to create product and services for which there are no direct competitors. This is called the blue ocean strategy. The goal is to make competition irrelevant. So we have here the example of competitive analysis. Next is positioning strategies. Positioning strategies is the act of designing up companies offering an image to occupy a distinctive places in the minds of the target market. Next, we have here the steps in brand positioning. First is determine a frame of reference. We have here to identify the competitors and we need to analyze competitors. Second is identifying the optimal points of difference or POD and points of parity or POP. So when we say POD or points of difference, these are the attributes or benefits that a consumer strongly associate with the brand, positively evaluate, and believe that they could not find to the same extent with a competitive brand. Or we can answer what is different to your what is difference or different to about your business. Next, we have here the point of parity or POP. When we say parity, it is equality or similar are essential industry standards that make a business legitimate in a field, or it is the similarities that are shared among many businesses. So we should answer the question, what is similar between you and your competitors? So we have here the example of a toothpaste company. Example, toothpaste company, the POP is to clean teeth, while the POD is, when we say POP, it is similar. What is similar to your product to other brands and meets their basic needs. While POD, it is carbon. Example, it includes carbon and fluoride. So when we say POD, what is different or unique about your product? Why your product or services is best option over competitors that also have essential covered. So next, we have the 3 criteria of POD. POD and 2 types of association of POP. So first, we have 3 criteria of POD. First is desirable to consumer. Consumer must see the brand association as personal relevant. Next is deliverable by the company. The company must have the internal resources and commitment to feasibly and profitably maintain a brand association in the minds of consumers. The product design and marketing offer must support the desired association. Next is differentiating from competitors. Consumer must see the brand association as a distinctive and superior to relevant competitors. Next is two types of association of POP. We have here the category points of parity are attributes and benefits that the consumers view as essential to legitimate and credible offering within a certain product or services category. Next is competitive points of parity are association designed to overcome perceived weaknesses of the brand. A competitive point of parity may require to either negate competitors' perceived points of difference or negate perceived vulnerability of the product or the brand as a result of its points of difference. Next, we have here the straddle positioning. When we say straddle positioning, we have a we create or adapted a dual image of the product in the minds of consumer. Example, points of parity plus points of difference is equal to straddle positioning. Straddle positions allow brands to expand their market coverage and potential customer base. So we have here the example of BMW. When BMW entered the market, gave steep competition to other luxurious cars because at the time, all luxury cars focus on luxury and overlook the performance factor. But BMW came with a dual positioning as luxurious or it is a pop and as well as a performance or pod and substantially this by its slogan the ultimate driving uh, machine. When choosing pop and pod, marketers typically focus on brands difference in choosing the pop or pods that make their brand positioning. For choosing specific benefits of pop and pods to position brand, we use perceptual map. Perceptual map is a visual representation of consumer perception and preferences. So we have here the example of perceptual maps on the right side. Next step of brand positioning is brand mantras. When we say mantras, it is articulation of heart and soul of the brand, or it is a brand essence or core brand promise. Brand mantras are short, 3 to 5 word and phrases that captures a refutable essence or spirit of brand positioning. So we have here the example is Disney brand mantra of fun family entertainment provides guardrails so its marketing stays on track. Next under ng brand mantras is designing a brand mantras. So brand mantras is an internal purpose in mind, while brand slogan is external translation that attempts to creative engage consumers. So to create a brand mantra, we have key criteria. First is it must communicate or unique about what is unique about your brand. Next, it must be simple or simplified, which is memorable, short, script, or and vivid in meaning. Next, inspire. Brand mantra should also stake out ground that is personally meaningful and relevant to as many employees as possible. So example of brand mantra is authentic athletic performance by uh, And next is the brand slogan is just do it. When you hear the word or does when you see the words just do it, you are familiar that it is came from Nike. Next is establishing brand positioning. So it once they have determined the brand positioning strategy, marketers should communicate it to everyone in organization so it guides their words and actions. One helpful schematic to do is brand positioning bullseye. So we have here the example of uh, brand positioning bullseye. You see on the inner corner or inner circle, we have the brand mantra. Next is points of parity and points of difference. Next is substantiator or RTB. RTB or the reasons to believe that provide factual and demonstrative that support POP and POD. Next, the outer circle, which is the values, personal character, and executive properties visually identify. When we say values and personality character, it is intangible association that help to establish tone of the word and actions for the brand. When we say execution properties or visual identity, uh, it is more tangible components of the brand that affect how it is seen. So next we have communicating category membership that is also under the brand mantra. So communicating category membership. So we have three main ways to convey brand category membership. Announcing category benefits to ensure consumers that a brand will deliver on fundamental reasons for using a category. Marketers frequently use benefits to announce category membership. Next is comparing of exemplars. Well, it is noteworthy brands in category that can also help the brand specify its category membership. Next is relying on product descriptor. The product descriptor that follows the brand name is often concise and means conveying category origin. Next is communicating pops and pods. So, so the best approach clearly is to develop a product and services that or performs well on both dimension. So next topic is marketing metrics. Marketing metrics are quantifiable way to track performance and are an important marketing measurement tool for gauging campaigns effectiveness. So we have here the common marketing metrics. We have 12 example here of marketing metrics. So first is impression share. Impression share, most marketers can use this metric to determine how much visibility their product is getting on a particular channel compared to a larger potential audience it can engage. An increase in impression can lead to a higher sales. Next is click-through rate. Click-through rate is a number of times an ad or click or link is clicked. Next is lead generation metrics. AI-powered solution like Marketing Cloud can help marketers to track leads generated from multiple marketing channels in a single unified dashboard. These lead uh, these leads get prioritized automatically based on likelihood of other conversion. Popularly, lead generation metrics include visitors to lead and lead to opportunity that measures conversion of page visitor into warm leads and warm leads into hot leads respectively. Next, we have here the marketing qualified lead or MQL and uh, sales qualified lead or SQL ratio. MQL are those that have shown the intent to buy, while and SQL are prospects that sales teams consider ready to ready for direct contact. Your assets and ads may get several sign-ups and clicks, but not all these leads would have a purchase intent. Next is cost per lead or CPL. Is amount or is the amount you spend on gaining new lead from campaign or channel. This metric can help you measure the ROI or return on investment of your campaigns and allocate budgets where you see better results. Ensure that the amount you spend on measure like paid ads and monitoring social media is as low possible while maintaining high acquisition rate. Next is lead to customer conversion rate. While gathering leads is important for your marketing and sales teams, measuring the number of leads that actually uh, convert into paying customers is also important. This can help to determine whether your sales teams needs a greater number of leads of higher quality, or right content to help them close deals faster. Next is CPA or cost per acquisition. CPA is the amount you spend to get new customer. Next is uh, customer lifetime value. Customer lifetime value is the amount is expected to spend on your company during the time they are with you. It can include license renewals, product plan, upgrades, upsell, and buying your product and other product or cross-sell, depending on your offerings and pricing models. Next is ROI or return on investment. Marketing. So marketing ROI can be calculated by CLV, which is the customer lifetime value by CPL or CPA. If your CPA is high but CBL is low, you need to tweak your campaign strategy to increase revenue generated from it. Next is action completion. So check if your audience are taking actions you are leading them towards. So it could be actions like entering contact details, subscribing to newsletter, or clicking onto CTA. Next is multiple touchpoint attribution. So not many people complete a purchase the first time they go browse online. Usually buyers prefer checking your options and coming back to make final purchase. So to better understand your impact of your marketing efforts at different touch point of your consumer journey, you can use tools like W-shape attribution models. This model attribute 30% credit to first clicks and 30% clicks that convert leads. 30% 30% to clicks that create opportunities, and 10% to other interaction. Last marketing metrics is company focus metrics. Lastly, and importantly, knowing how marketers contribute to the company's business growth and profit is crucial. Company focus marketing metrics have to measure and assess how much your company's new or repeat customers, business opportunities, revenue, and profits can be attributed to the marketing initiative. So, examples of such company metrics include marketing originated customer percentage, customer acquisition cost, recovery time, return on marketing investment, or ROMI. Next is performance measurement. It is a process of quantifying and assessing effectiveness and efficiency of organization or individual in achieving their objectives or goals. It aims to clearly understand how well an organization or individual is performing and identifying the areas for improvement. So we have here the forms of performance measurement. First is KPI, or key performance indicators. This metric measure progress towards particular objectives. It is used to track performance over time and can be used to benchmark performance against industry standards or competitors. Second is balance scorecard. It is a framework for measurement and managing performance across multiple dimensions, including financial performance, customer satisfaction, internal processes, and learning and growth. It uses a mixed financial and non-financial metrics to provide a more comprehensive view of an organization's performance. Next is Six Sigma, is a data-driven methodology for improving process qualify by reducing defects and minimizing variability. It uses a set of statistical tool and techniques to measure performance and identify opportunities for improvement. Next is performance appraisal. Our formal process of evaluating an individual performance against predetermined goals or objectives. They can be used to identify strengths and weaknesses and provide feedbacks on performance. Next is customer satisfaction surveys. Measure customer satisfaction with a product or services that you offer, so they can be used to identify the areas for improvement and improve customer loyalty. Next is benchmarking. It's a process of comparing organizations' performance to industry standards or best practice. So it can be used to identify areas for improvement and best practice that can be adopted. And lastly, the ROI, or return on investment, measures on return on investments for a particular project or initiative. It evaluates the effectiveness of an investment and determines whether it is worth pursuing. So that ends my report. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so thank you so much, no, presenters. Again, strategic planning or strategic marketing planning is the process of aligning marketing activities and strategies in order to get desired business goals. No? So the inclusion of this element is a fundamental component of a comprehensive market growth strategy. So the aforementioned process entails a systematic methodology for developing and implementing strategies that propel firms towards achieving favorable outcomes. So the market development strategy, of course, focus on market trends analysis, product pricing, product distribution, promotional activities. No? And these endeavors aim to optimize market influence and contribute to the achievement of long-term corporate goals. So the strategic marketing planning offers a structured framework to effectively pursue their marketing objectives. So the alignment of marketing initiative with the overarching business plan is essential for optimizing the utilization of resources. Through the formulation of a strategic marketing strategy, organizations are able to discern potential possibilities, proactively anticipate business issues, and devise effective tactics to mitigate risk and overcome obstacles. Okay, so the subsequent points encompass fundamental elements that should be considered in order to optimize the efficiency of strategic marketing planning endeavors, because the process of strategic marketing planning is ongoing and susceptible to adoption in response to the fluctuating dynamics of the market. So, of course, there are certain processes serve as the fundamental principles to adhere to when formulating a strategic marketing plan. So, for us to develop, of course, we need to define your market goals, conduct market research, identify your target audience is important, and you need to develop a unique value propositions, choose the right marketing channels and tactics, and create a marketing budget, develop your marketing messages, implement or content, implement the strategy, and you need to measure and analyze the results, and evaluate and optimize. So strategic marketing planning involves adopting a comprehensive perspective of the industry and developing a predictive framework that outlines optimal techniques and pathways to pursue. However, in the process of implementing marketing strategies, organizations may face three insignificant challenges. So which will be interdependence, the evolutions, and the separations. So the implementation of strategic marketing planning is crucial for organizations due to its ability to establish a systematic approach to marketing, guaranteeing that marketing efforts are congruent with the overarching objectives of the firm. Additionally, it aids organizations in recognizing and using market opportunities, maintaining a competitive edge, and adjusting to evolving market dynamics. And finally, strategic marketing planning facilitates the efficient deployment of resources, enhances the optimization of marketing initiative, and has the potential to yield superior outcomes. So strategic planning is an essential procedure for every organization seeking to accomplish its marketing goals. One can acquire proficiency in strategic marketing planning, a fundamental talent for business development, through the completion of recognized courses provided by STEAM educational institutions. So strategic marketing planning frameworks refer to conceptual models or structure that are utilized in the field of marketing to guide the development of strategic marketing plans. And these frameworks provides a systematic approach to analyzing market conditions, identifying targets. So a marketing framework actually refers to a conceptual structure or model that provides a systematic approach for understanding and analyzing various aspects of marketing activities inside the organization. There are certain pros and cons, of course, of implementing marketing strategies framework, but we need always to consider the 7Ps marketing mix, which is the common employment marketing framework: the product, the price, the place, promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. So a while ago, our presenter mentioned about the segmentation, targeting, positioning, that this will be a step framework. It encompasses the key components. Ito yung key components: the segmentation, targeting, positioning of a marketing model. We have also Porter's 5 forces, no, which developed by Michael Porter, no, the supplier power, buyer power, threat and substitution, threat of new entry, and competitive rivalry. So we have also what we call pirate metrics, no, pirate metrics, so acquisition, activation, retention, revenue generation, and referral. So there is not a universally optimal marketing framework that can be universally applied to all business. Take note of it. No? This selection of an appropriate marketing framework for a firm is contingent upon various criteria encompassing the marketer's role, the intended audience, and the nature of product or business, as well as additional consideration. Baka sabihin, okay, Porters ang gagamitin ko. Okay, 7-piece mix ang gagamitin ko. So, it depends upon to your organization, because the optimal marketing framework for your organization may potentially encompass any of the aforementioned example. So a synthesis of many frameworks, an alternative framework, not of course, or a novel framework devised by your own initiative. And the primary objective is to identify a marketing framework that aligns well with the specific needs and characteristic of your organizations. We need also to understand the environmental scanning and SWOT analysis, no? Because environmental scanning is a process that entails the examination and evaluation of the external environment within which an organization's function. And this entails the identification of pertinent macro environmental elements, including the economics, development, technology advancement, social shifts, and regulatory changes. So the SWOT analysis conversely is a strategic instrument employed to evaluate the internal strengths and weaknesses of a business along with the external opportunities and dangers it faces. Because the integration of results obtained from environmental scanning with SWOT analysis enable firms to effectively identify possible opportunities for growth, innovation, and risk management. So, of course, utilizing a SWOT analysis is widely acknowledged as the predominant method for conducting an internal assessment because, again, strengths and weaknesses must be, of course, observed in our internal, no, and threats and opportunities is for our external. So, we have also what we call PESTEL analysis. No, this framework actually is used for strategic management to assess the external macro environmental factors that may impact an organization. So the utilization of PESTEL study enable firms to evaluate and analyze the macro level external influences. So PESTEL stands for political, economic, social, technology, legal, and environmental. So we have also what we call STEEPLE, no? STEEPLE analysis, no? Social, technological, economic, environmental, political, legal, and ethical. The STEEPLE framework extends to PESTEL framework by incorporating environmental and ethical considerations. So sa PESTEL, ang dagdag lang naman sa STEEPLE ay ethical and environmental. Now we have also what we call the skeptic analysis, no? Synonymous to the same actually with PESTEL. No, why do I need to mention all those things? Possibly, no, you will be able to use this framework in your thesis, no, in your thesis 1 and thesis 2. Possibly, no, maybe somebody wanted to study about different framework, no? Maybe skeptic, no, STEEPLE or PESTEL or SWOT analysis and so on and so forth. But of course, it still depends upon you. So top 5 reasons strategic plans fail. Number 1, leaders demonstrate their commitment by opting to create a single strategic plan rather than engage in continuous strategic group, no, and so on and so forth. Number 2 is facilitators from planning processes from the present to the future. Number 3, participants often prioritize the consideration of the objectives or goals of our plan, neglecting the necessary attention to the specific strategies and methods required for its successful implementation. Number 4, the inability of teams to reach a consensus is a common occurrence. Minsan kasi iba yung idea nito, hindi sila nag-meet, no? Parang win-win solution lagi dapat. And lastly, organization exhibit a reluctance to adhere to their commitments. So I think that's it, no, for this chapter. So thank you so much for the presenters and looking forward that we will be able to have before I forgot, no, there are some metrics utilized to diverse marketing channels, no. Meron tayong email marketing, digital marketing, social media, website, content marketing, video and streaming TV ads, sales, revenue, SEO or search engine optimization, and quality. No? So it is very important actually. And to consider, of course, our key performance indicator. In business, no, we need to look into lead generation, return on investment, and impression share must be considered. No? So I think that's it. May I request everyone to please turn on your camera for our picture as a proof of our attendance. Sensya na overtime tayo. Next week, wala naman po akong serve, kaya